the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How high? No,
Greatest fucking Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in that front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 223. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I am your other co-host, Malin Dennis.
Your other great co-host, Lester.
I'm your favorite special guest co-host, Junebug Spade.
Gentlemen, we are all joined together for another great week.
Woo-hoo.
I am super excited for this week's episode. Yeah, let's start the show as we traditionally do with a nice cheers. Oh, Nestor doesn't have Sky Vodka this week.
Oh my God.
Too much, you know.
You had to give it back to 1990.
Oh, who's on there? Oh, there's always next season.
That is true. Cheers, gentlemen.
They've been saying that since 72, man.
Orange Jameson.
Good stuff. What is everyone taking a shot of today?
I took Orange Jameson.
Oh, okay.
I did Buffalo Trace.
Was that Whistle Pig?
Yep.
It's that camp stock.
I mean,
Very nice.
What about you there?
I just had Maker's Mark. Almost done with this
yeah,
bottle.
okay.
Keeping it very standard over here. Folks at home, we are a NFL and NBA podcast. Some NBA creeping back into the show this week. So, hey, in the next couple of weeks, this will be a big NBA show. So stay tuned for that. But we still got plenty of NFL playoff stuff to get to this week and kind of next week as the Super Bowl comes up here. So if you want to tune in live every Wednesday night, we do this 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we do this on YouTube live. So be sure to come through, join the live chat, give the stream a like. And if you can't catch us live, you can always watch the replay here on YouTube anyway. Still do all those things. Subscribe. That way you can be notified when we go live anyway. So, yeah. With that being said, let's just hop right on into the first topic of this week's show, which we are going to recap the divisional round of the playoffs, which was highly, highly entertaining last weekend. We're going to start off with the Commanders and the Detroit Lions, where the Commanders won 45-31 in Detroit. Happy days. All right, let's start with June. What was the biggest reason the Lions lost this game?
It just seemed like their defense didn't know how to handle, the quarterback, Jaden Daniels. It just seems like he could do whatever he wanted, And they did a good job of mixing the pass and the run in there. And Detroit's defense, even with all the injuries all season, have been playing very well. But they took this game to just miss, the opportunities. And it didn't help that Jared Goff became Jared Goff from 2019 again. That didn't help, throwing interceptions, in big spots and overthrowing, missing wide open receivers, taking sacks when he shouldn't. It's just one of those things where I don't know. The Lions, I think there was so much pressure on the Lions to win because they've never been in the favorite. Think about this. The Lions have been futile for 50 years. and they come back as the favorite this year. That's a lot of pressure on you. Then you got two coaches who are up for jobs. Everybody's trying to be perfect, and I think they were wound so tight that they snapped. And this was the game they snapped in. And Washington didn't have anything to lose. If you're the Washington Commanders, what do you have to lose? You had nothing to lose. You're not supposed to be here. First of all, you're not even supposed to be here. So those guys just went out and played loosey goosey, and they just played a phenomenal game. I tip my hat to Dan Quinn for having a game plan. And you know what, man? Hats off to them. And I hope they do go out there and beat the Eagles next week. And I want to say one more thing about the Detroit Lions before we move on. Before I move on, is that they have 16, they have 31 free agents next year. 22 are unrestricted free agents, and 8 of them are starters. Did they window close? That's my question for the group as you go through this. Did they window close this year?
Go ahead, Malin.
I think you can really chalk this loss down to just one simple category of the game, and that's turnovers. They happen at the worst time, at the most inopportune times. Jared Goff picked a really bad time to turn into Sam Darnold. He was playing so great the whole year. And then, just, I don't know, there's just something about having the bye week, man. Even with college football in these playoffs, man, it did not help some of these people. I also I will say this. I think that the Lions made a mistake by putting David Montgomery back in the game this week. I think that the Lions offense had been humming. You saw it with Gibbs. He only got 14 carries, but he ran for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Even taking away 7 carries away from him, there was still a lot of other packages where Montgomery was in there. I just think that Gibbs has shown that he's an every down back. That you can count on him for the pass protection. You can count on him to catch the ball. You can count on him to run the ball. And he's more than just explosive off the side. Like, he run up the middle on people. And so I think it lost a little bit of explosiveness there. And I think I'm not sure that any NFL team takes another NFL team too lightly, but I just kind of feel like Detroit went in there expecting to win, and then when they had a fight on their hands, they just weren't able to pull it out. But I mean, what was it? 4 turnovers total. 4 turnovers total, 3 interceptions. I mean, and one of those 5. One of them led directly to a touchdown. So I mean, you got to think that Detroit probably closes at 14 points. If they don't have 5 turnovers, they probably would have won. It probably would have been like another 1 or 2 pointer. Like what Detroit would have to do to make it to the Super Bowl. But you can't lose the turnover battle that bad. Like, I don't know, Goff throwing that many interceptions while the rookie quarterback is handling his business and keeping the ball away from the other team. It looked bad. Now, I will say that I do not think the Lions window is closed. I feel like we say that a lot about teams that lose coordinators, that lose some players, and then all of a sudden it's like a couple years later they're like, oh, okay. Like the last time the 49ers missed the playoffs, the last time, not this time, but the last time, a lot of people are like, well, their window's closing because they're going to have to pay people, and then they still went back to the Super Bowl. Here the Eagles are, a couple years after being in the Super Bowl, and they're right back in the NFC Championship game. So I still think there will be opportunities. This just might have been their best opportunity. This was their best opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. We'll see what they can do going forward. But my heart does break for Detroit Lions fans. That's a long time to be bad, and then to be good, and to be that good, and for it to end that suddenly in a way that you didn't expect it. Like, I think Detroit Lions fans would have been okay if they lost in the NFC Championship game. You know what I mean? Like that takes a little bit of the sting away. But to lose in the divisional round means you went backwards this year. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
tough pill to swallow. So wave crash a little early.
Go ahead, Nestor.
I think the characteristic of teams that win Super Bowls and do well in the playoffs is that they don't tend to make many mistakes. And even when they do make a mistake or two, they're able to very easily, adapt to the situation and get back on their feet. This is what the Chiefs do very, very damn well. Um, just the Lions were with Jared Goff. Just they picked, like everybody said, a bad moment to do this. Um, the thing is, yeah, Commanders had a great, offense. Jaden Daniels, my God, what terrible timing for the Lions that the Commanders they were 4-13, I think, last season,
Mm-hmm.
and now, like, what is going on? They're about to go to the Super Bowl because they can beat Philly. They know how to beat Philly. It's not like this is a so it's crazy to me. How he's able to achieve this. And the conversation is starting to, happen about this man as a rookie QB and the history of the NFL when it comes to rookie quarterbacks. It's starting to happen. Um, I wouldn't say the window is closing. The problem is you have to think how long it's taking you to get to this point, and all of a sudden, the Washington Commanders pick a great quarterback and you just lost to them. Like that's insane because this was the year that you were supposed to, come back from it all, learn from your mistakes, and get there, and win it all.
They got leapfrogged.
But yeah, exactly. So this is something gonna have to look at because if it that I mean it's insane. This team was 4-13. They were a laughing stock, just like in Chicago, just like So they're gonna have to really look internally and see how they can improve a lot because it just seems like the NFL has gotten very competitive, more competitive. Now. I don't know what happened, but this is going to be a problem for them next year. So, yeah.
Oh man, what an embarrassing loss for the Detroit Lions. Just shameful on their part. This is the same team where their head coach was just completely overlooking whoever the fuck they were going to play in the first round because we'll see Vikings in 2 weeks. Will you? Do you know that? Because you sure didn't end up seeing anybody. This team had nothing but conference championship written all over it the whole season long. It seemed like it was his foregone conclusion. They were going to the conference championships. Everybody within the state of Michigan, everyone in the whole northern half of the United States thought that this team they're going to the Super Bowl. And they forgot that they still have to play 2 playoff games in order to get there and win both those playoff games in order to get there. Jared Goof showed up, and that is why they lost this game. He did not have his defense to rely on because we've been all banged up, which has bailed him out in a lot of other situations leading up to this point. But this time, he dug them a massive hole, and because the defense was so banged up, they couldn't keep up with a buzzsaw known as the Commanders' offense. So I put most of this on Jared Goof over there. This dude he picks the worst times to go pumpkin, and we've seen it time and time again. And this is just another example. I think that the window is not exactly closed because I think it is closing, but this is what separates like really great teams just from like these kind of spur of the moment. They have a 1 to 2 year hot time. Is Dan Campbell a good enough coach where he can take the changes in the roster that are inevitably going to happen and still keep them as a title contender over this next 2 year span? Like that's what we've seen San Francisco do with Shanahan. I guess you can say Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. like obviously Kansas City, Buffalo, all these other teams that year after year we see them sticking around. Is Detroit going to be like them and be able to stay relevant even as the roster has kind of major changes? So it's kind of hard for me to say if the window's closing.
Right.
You know what? You know what I think about with the Detroit Lions, Jalen, is that are they closer to ending up like the Buffalo Bills we have now, where they make the playoffs a lot and they're trying to keep inching forward? Or are they going to be like that 2016, 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars? They had talent, they had players, they were young, they made it to the AFC Championship game, and then nothing ever materialized after that. You know what I mean? And they became a laughing stock again so quickly. So quickly did the Jaguars become another afterthought. And I think it's going to be interesting because you got to get 2 new coordinators. The only saving grace that they have, like besides having to get 2 coordinators, is that what does this Lions team look like if they come back next year and they are healthy and they don't get bit by the injury bug? Because you never want to use injuries as an excuse. They did have 16 players on IR, and they did lose 2 more players on the secondary during that game. They lost the nickelback, a corner, and they lost one of their another safety like during that game. Like I was watching the game with G Money, and he was like, "I'm not like, are they going to have to put the punter out there? Like, is he going to have to be a safety? Like, at some point, you start running out of people." So maybe the strength and conditioning coach need to look at a little bit. Like I don't know, just change your diet. But that was a lot of injuries. That was wild.
The one thing you said was correct about Montgomery, because, and I hate to bring up my team, but it's an example. When the Cowboys lost to the Giants that year in the divisional round of playoffs, one thing they did that people don't realize they did, and it made a big difference. They had Julius Jones and Marion Barber, right? All season long, Julius Jones was a starter all season, and Marion Barber came in and did the heavy lifting, right? In that playoff game, for the first time, they started all season. They started Marion Barber in that playoff game against the Giants, and it completely blew up in their face because Marion Barber could not figure out the blocking schemes. And once the Giants figured that out, they knew they could get to Romo the entire time. And like you said, Malin, bringing Montgomery back at this point in time was probably the wrong thing to do. They should have only put him in when Gibbs was absolutely dog shit tired. Other than that, Montgomery just stay on the bench. Because you're messing up the flow when you do that.
Not only did they not do that, but they were giving Montgomery like entire series, like what they were doing before he got work, because they used to alternate series with those two.
Yep.
And he was coming back from what was an MCL sprain. So it was his first action back from it. I'm like, don't like you said, spell Gibbs. Let Gibbs still get the 20-some catches or touches, but spell him when he's tired. But to give him a whole series, and you could just see the offense not be the same. It wasn't as fast and electric when Montgomery was out there. And especially, they didn't start putting Montgomery out there until the second half.
Yeah.
They were already down. Like at that point, Goff has already goofed it, like Jalen said. And now you're going to start changing stuff up and try to go to a power running game when you're already down to the Commanders. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
G Money says their defense was sus going into the game. Too many injuries for them to overcome. And then everyone's window closes after the last game they play of the season. That was
yes, he is a very big component of every season is a new season. Like you don't carry anything because so many things, people change and stuff like that.
Fair enough. All right, let's go into the next game. Another talking about playoff shortcomings. The Ravens came up short to the Bills, 27-25. June, what was the biggest reason the Ravens lost this game?
Come on now. If you are supposed to be a top 10 tight end in this league,
oh boy,
you have your moments in this game. Yeah, there was a couple of turnovers by the Baltimore. We get that, but they were still in the game.
Oh.
They were still in the game. This dude.
Oh.
Oh my God! I mean, this dude is on the. You know they put a wanted poster up in Baltimore of him. I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. But he fumbled the series before, and then he turns around and drops the game tying 2-point convert. He was by himself. I don't. That's the. This was a great game. I knew this was going to be the best game of the weekend. I knew it. I knew it was going to be the best game. It was a great game. Those two quarterbacks put it all out on the line. They both played excellent football. How you screw up so bad if you're a veteran guy who was wide open? How do you screw? Great game. Unfortunately, they had a player that wasn't on there, that just wasn't on there. For some reason, this guy didn't want to play. And I had a buddy of mine over. We're watching it, and I said, "Does he look like he want to play?" Because it was like he had a drop pass early in the game too. And he just walked out the field, just looked like. And I was like, I was asking, "Does he look ready to play?" And my buddy was like, "No, he doesn't." So I don't know. But it was a great game. It's one of the best playoff games that we've seen. So hats off to both teams. But I hate blaming a game on one player, but goddamn, that was on one player. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Malin.
First of all, I would like to point out before I say who I think is what's the biggest reason. I think there's a few. One, when you're in that cold of weather and you're holding Josh Allen to 150 yards passing, and yet Derrick Henry only touches the ball 16 times, that's gross negligence on the offensive part. Why you not get him more involved earlier in the game? Second, yes, Mark Andrews deserves a little pie of the blame. I'm like, you always scream "go down" whenever someone's trying to make one extra yard and there's 4 people on them or whatever. But I've never been in the AFC divisional game trying to help my team get to a Super Bowl, so I don't know if I'd go down or if I'd fight for that extra yard. And of course the drop, 2-point conversion. They wouldn't have even had that opportunity for that drop 2-point conversion if it wasn't for Buffalo being dumb and kicking a field goal. They should have gone for it on that 4th and goal, because I was literally telling people, I was like, there's no and I was saying it to you, June. I was like, it's dumb. I don't care about the analytics, man. I don't care about the analytics. You don't give Lamar Jackson 3.5 minutes with a chance to come up and tie the game. That's crazy. Back him up and make him go 98 yards to actually win it. But to me, you know what? If you get all the praise when you win, okay, and if you're the face of the franchise, and you're ultimately the reason why that team is down anyways in the 4th quarter because you coughed up the ball twice, one of them leading to 7 points. You're the quarterback that put the Bills offense in position to have a 3-minute and a 2-minute drive to score touchdowns in the first half. You're down and needing to come back and needing that 2-point play because your quarterback played average most of the game and gave the ball away in the first half. And I know that when it happens at the end of a game, you're like, oh, well, you don't have a chance to make it up. Well, Lamar Jackson put him in a hole, and he had to help dig him out of it. Just because Mark Andrews wasn't able to actually dig them out of it doesn't mean that Lamar Jackson wasn't the reason why they were in the hole to begin with. Because that offense was moving, but Lamar Jackson was the reason why they were stalling drives in the first half. So I have to give most of the blame to the 2-time MVP that played average. And when he was playing well, they coughed the ball up. I mean, that fumble, come on, man. 2 hands. That interception, what the heck was you doing? They're lucky that the Baltimore defense was playing as well as it was in stymieing Buffalo's offense the way it was for much of the game, because that game could have been over quick in the second quarter alone. So I think when you're the two-time MVP and you're the face and you get all the praise, you got to take a big lump of the hate on this one when your team loses by 2 points. I don't care that he drove them 70 yards in position to tie the game. You're the reason why they were in the position to have to go 70 yards to tie the game to begin with.
How did you drop that damn ball? My God, man. It's like, what was the Buckner? It was the Buckner play all over again. Buckner right between the legs, Buckner. How the hell do you let that ball go between your legs, Buckner? Like, seriously. Oh, okay. I'm done.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is as much on Mark Andrews as it is on Lamar Jackson. And I'm not surprised, honestly. This is the same Ravens we've seen all season, a little bit inconsistent. Just the way they're arriving to the playoffs, it just something didn't seem right, and here it is. On the other side of the ball, though, the Bills have finally learned to be allergic to mistakes. This is not the Bills I saw 2 or 3 seasons ago or 2 seasons ago, where they were just it was a mess, a circus the entire time. Josh Allen is finally capitalizing on opportunities, and he is not letting anything go. So I don't think it's even. I would even give Sean McDermott the credit here. I just think it's a case of Josh Allen finally learning to be one of those quarterbacks that just gets the job done. Doesn't make the mistakes that Lamar Jackson makes, and dude, you gotta give it to him. Ray Davis for no reason, running back, amazing. Like, why is this man running like how Derrick Henry should have been running this game? But yeah, I don't put as much blame on Mark Andrews. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Lamar Jackson.
Do you guys remember the play on the Bills' last drive where Josh Allen damn near didn't take his allergy medicine and almost made such a bad mistake?
Mm-hmm.
When he got stood up, and he turned his back to the defense and the running back was right there, his eyes got so big. Like, he thought about it. He thought about.
I thought he was going to pitch that damn
to the
ball.
running back. I was talking to G Money. I was like, no, don't do it. And then he took the side, and I was like, oh man.
Oh,
I was like, his eyes got so big.
Yeah. He thought he was Patrick Mahomes for a second.
I was like,
That
oh,
was a good embodiment of how he's grown over this past season, because the Josh Allen of the past may have tried some wild
2 years ago
circus stuff like that. Unfortunately, I got to put the majority of the blame on my man Lamar Jackson. If he did not play like such trash in the first half of this game, I don't think that they would have lost this game. And it's always so frustrating with him, because it's like, in these situations, it's not like Jared Goff over there who just completely shit the bed. It's like one part of the game he'll play bad, the other part he'll play really well, which is like kind of the same thing last year. So it's just frustrating. Mark Andrews definitely deserves some of the blame, but I think the majority has to, like Malin said, if you're the face, when everything goes right, and everyone gives you the props, then yeah, the same thing should be said in reverse. So those turnovers, those two, the fumble that he had was so atrocious, and the pick was so atrocious. Those were the worst turnovers out of all 4 games the entire weekend, like by far. They were really, really bad. And it's just like the fumble, I was like, what are you thinking? Like, what the hell? Yeah, I mean, the Ravens looked like a team that lost 5 games this year against a team that was a lot better and played a lot cleaner of a game, was at home, was comfortable in the weather, and like belonged in that position, which is also kind of funny that the Ravens were not the underdogs in this game, but whatever. I put most of the blame.
It was a good game, though.
It
was a
was,
good game.
and I also blame Lamar because if he had won this game, we would have had 4 black quarterbacks in the championship round. Did not happen. So thanks, Lamar. You should have bet on that one too.
Josh Allen
Yes.
honorary. I give him an honorary. I heard him rap.
You know
He can flow a little
the
bit.
We on TikTok said Josh
thing-
Allen was black.
Yeah, he's black. He's
He
black.
got
He got some. He got some. He got some cred. He got some street cred. All the way from North Dakota.
isn't Lamar Jackson 1-5 now in the divisional round?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Lamar
yes.
Jackson's 1-5. I think Josh
Yes.
Allen is also. I think Josh Allen is 2-5 or 2-5 or 2-4. They both only had one win in the divisional round. Like both of them needed this game badly.
Mhm.
But let's
Right.
not act like Josh Allen is out of the woods.
No.
No,
with a certain team we're about to
right.
talk about next.
Kryptonite. His
gotta-
kryptonite just showed up.
It was
Gotta
funny
fly
when
into
Nestor was going. I was like, the real test is next week. This was the
Yeah.
quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
This was a pop quiz. The final was
this was the final
Please.
boss is coming up.
I wish
Final
my
boss is coming
I
up.
wish my quarterback got a pop quiz.
His pop quiz is in a blue tent every other week.
Exactly.
Let's go to the Chiefs and Texans here, where the Chiefs won 23-14. Every week with this team, it's in dramatic fashion. There's always some sort of politics that get involved, even in games that you wouldn't think there would be any kind of ref involvement. There still is. 23-14 was the final score. June, what was the biggest reason the Chiefs won this game?
Well, you look at what the Chiefs did. They just intimidate this team. The Texans were not ready to play this game. The Texans played like how I thought Washington Commanders were going to play. We're just happy to be here. Okay? We know we're not invited, so we're just happy to be here. And that's the way the Texans came out and took this. They played this game. I mean, the offensive coordinator from the Texans all season long, he had a game plan where he had it opened up for C.J. Stroud to be able to, even with the loss of the guys on the team, he had a great mix all season of Joe Mixon and C.J. Stroud. And for some reason, this offensive coordinator tried to be cute. He tried to throw some trick plays. And for me, I watched the game, and I don't know if you guys saw this. C.J. Stroud did not look comfortable this entire game. And some of it was, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs defense, because let me tell you, Spagnolia, oh my God. I called one blitz that he did, and it was beautiful. That man is the king of blitzes. Okay? And so I think that was the biggest reason, is that Spagnolia said, I got a young quarterback. This kid isn't, he's not on our level. We're just going to get through this game right now. And Spagnolia threw every single thing at this kid, and C.J. Stroud, offensive coordinator, did not have his back. I mean, they was making up plays on the fly because they couldn't figure out Spagnolia's defense. And by the time they figured it out, it was too late. It was too late. So I give all the praises to Kansas City Spagnolia. He did great. He knew what to do. He came in with a game plan. He stuck to it. The Texans, I don't know what the preparation for them was off this week. You knew you was playing the best team in the NFL, and you did not show up. And guess what? Kansas City didn't have to exert themselves. They just came out, played their game, played clean, and got out of here with the win. So all praises to that Kansas City defense.
Okay. I think they knew. I think they remember they were playing Kansas City Chiefs. I just think they forgot that it was like a 2-on-1 special going on in this game. And I'm sick and tired of people trying to excuse it away and like it doesn't actually happen. I think the Texans did two things that was kind of boneheaded. One, you should have rushed Mixon more. Yeah, the game was never really that out of reach. You needed to rush him more. Yes, Stroud was average at best, but damn, Mahomes was average at best. The best thing Mahomes did was faking getting hit in the head. That was the best part of his football game that week. Because when you look at it, man, like Houston had 7 minutes more time of possession. They did have a lot more turnovers. That's interesting. They outgained the Kansas City Chiefs by 120 yards. They were 10 of 17 on third down. They had 4 more first downs than Kansas City. That fourth down where they went for it on their own side of the field was dumb. Shouldn't have done that. But it just it bothers me so much. It's kind of starting to look like Mahomes is turning into like an international soccer player. Like he is acting.
What?
He is acting. No,
What?
he is acting. He is acting for the flag, man. He is acting for the flag. He gets hit when he knows the ref's behind him. He pops his head backwards. He's running out of bounds and he stops at the goal and he stops at the edge so that a defensive player has to hit him. And then, oh my God, did that not look like LeBron James in a football jersey the way he fell out of bounds like that? I was like, come on, man. Like, the ref was just looking at him like, stop being a bitch, man. Like, come on. And I think the NFL really needs to look at this sort of thing. And I think Troy Aikman and other people are right. Even Tom Brady's right. It needs to be reviewable that if you see a quarterback doing something like that, it should be a 15-yard penalty on the offense. And I think that all 15-yard penalties like that, I think they should be reviewable because it doesn't take that long to review it. There's plenty of times where replay is called in over the last few weeks and it said, no, that wasn't a catch, and it's so fast. And you can know when those things are or are not. It's not going to take up that much of the game. But if anyone thinks that Mahomes is not getting the Tom Brady treatment, like the NFL is not even trying to hide it right now. Let's stop. Let's not be naive about it. The fix is not in that the NFL is mandating that the Chiefs are going to make it. It's not like there's a script. But refs, just like we've seen in basketball, you can sway the needle closer one way or the other if you want to. And I think there is hey, Chiefs going for a three-peat. Let's give them a little extra chance there because by all accounts, when we look at all these stats, Houston should have been right in that game. They weren't because there were some iffy calls, and the Chiefs did what they did. And so everyone wants to glorify that Superman throw by Patrick Mahomes, so they try to forget about all the other bullshit things he does. I dislike the Chiefs more than I dislike the Patriots when they was winning Super Bowls. Like, I dislike them more. Because then you got Mahomes. You got Mahomes coming out here today. No, man, I think the rest is just they got a hard job and they just playing it fair. Shut up with the CTE ass. Just come on, man. Just play the game. Like, I think people like Troy Aikman are like offended that the quarterback play is being played like this. Like, Troy Aikman sounded irritated over what Mahomes did at the sideline. Like, he sounded legitimately bothered by the fact that Mahomes would do that with a quarterback position. Because it's not fair to defenders. They shouldn't have to give up inches and yards to protect somebody that's trying to get a flag called. So, there's my take.
Go ahead, Esther.
Boo.
Yeah, I do think there's they're favored a little bit, but I think I didn't see the Texans beating the Chiefs. The O-line for the Texans was terrible. CJ Stroud was sacked. Wait, how many times? Like 4 or 5 times.
It was 6.
They had just terrible mistakes and I don't think this is a case of. I just think the Chiefs know how to, like I said before, they know how to not make mistakes and not get. They know how to play the game very well, especially at this level where, yeah, like I said, they're favored a little bit, but they know how to not get caught lagging by the refs. This is a game they play very damn well, and they've, I think, perfected it. Just a couple things that I think maybe the Bills should be looking at is how this is all Mahomes and Kelsey most of the time, and then maybe Worthy. Everybody else, I had no idea who else was playing. Was it Juju? Was it? It doesn't matter who they had. Somebody's grandma was playing as a wide receiver. Somebody was just doing cardio out there. They had about two guys just running marathons the entire game, doing nothing. So they need to look at that. Maybe they need to look at the fact that I know it's Joe Mixon, and I will rave and rave about Joe Mixon and how much of an underrated running back he is. But the Chiefs did let a lot of that ground game go a little uncontrolled. So for a defense that's really, really good and you know how to take advantage of really mediocre offensive lines, they did let that running game get a little bit crazy. So maybe something the Bills should look at. But yeah, I saw this coming, honestly. And the special teams for Houston was ass. That's the other part. So, yeah.
It was 8 sacks allowed, by the way, Nestor.
8. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason the Chiefs won this game, the Houston special teams was god awful. Houston also desperately missed Tank Dell. I really think that if they could correct the special teams errors and had Tank Dell, I think they could have won this game. But Kansas City just knows how to play mistake-free football when it matters most. Like they just can play a very clean game. And it's funny how they look a lot like the Patriots, the modern day Patriots, 2025 Patriots. Because it's kind of in the same way where it's like, we don't need to do anything spectacular. We're just going to let you beat yourself, and we're going to make less mistakes than you. Except in this case, they know the rules, and they're going to very, very specifically walk this tight rope of we're going to let the rules play in our favor, specifically when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. Because I think the difference between like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes is like Tom Brady wasn't like trying to draw a foul. Like, if he would get sacked, of course he's looking at the ref because he wants a flag every time. But he wasn't doing things to purposely try and draw a foul. While Patrick Mahomes is like, hey, let me stop here and then get shoved. And basically treating it like Malin said, like a soccer player or like an NBA player. Or it's like, you jump into the defender when you're on the 3-point line to just try and draw that foul. And it's like, it's annoying, I'm not going to lie, but I can't really be too mad at it because it's like, it's part of the rules. So
because it's working.
It is working. And you're playing into, the rule book. NFL needs to look at that. It's pretty stupid that that's even a thing. But yeah, he's treating it like an NBA player where it's like, I'm going to purposely try and draw a penalty because I know the rules are written in my favor.
Like someone trying to take a 3 at the end of the game and throw the leg out there so the other team makes contact, right? Exactly. Like Kobe used to do that all the time. Hey, case in point, you guys remember in that Lions game where Goff throws that interception and he gets blown up in the face on that? If that was Mahomes, that defender would have gotten the electric chair right there during halftime. It would have been during halftime. They're like, let us cut away from so-and-so real quick because we have a special thing going on at halftime. We have a hood over his head and he'd just be gone. You can't do that to Mahomes. But because that's Jared Goff, they're like, shake it off, son. Go in the medical tent. I'm like, I'm like, anytime a quarterback is having to go into the medical tent for concussion reasons, there should have been a flag. If Mahomes is getting some of the flags that he gets,
Yeah.
he's
Right.
like, oh, an insect hit my face mask when I threw the ball. I think they had a Texans helmet on. Let's give me 15 yards. Like, come on, man. Like, this is just getting ridiculous with the damn Chiefs.
That's not very Mahomey of you.
I don't know.
It is.
Also,
it's
how much
out
money
there.
is the How much money is the NFL going to make if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl and you got all the Swifties
They
watching?
want that Swift coin again.
Right. Yeah.
It's a big investment. Big investment. I don't
Like-
think there's a woman in Buffalo as popular as Taylor Swift.
There's a lot of women.
There's a woman. There's a woman named Beth that can jump through several tables and throw down a 12-pack right after that. But not a Swiftie out there.
Hey, in modern NFL, in say the last 15 years, was Detroit losing to Washington one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in the last 15 years? Can you name a bigger upset than? Can you name a bigger upset than this?
A bigger upset than a one seed losing.
And I'm talking about the
division.
playoffs. The biggest upset of all time was the Giants beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That was the biggest upset. But I talk about. I mean, I take it up there with Atlanta beating. Remember when Atlanta beat Minnesota that year to go to the Super Bowl?
That was a lot
The
more
Randy
15
Moss
years
team?
ago.
I mean, it was
A lot more
15 years
15
ago.
years
But
ago.
you know what I mean. But I'm talking about. But think about it, is that? It's up there with that type of upset. Think about upsets in the NFL.
But wasn't but Washington was still a 12-win team, right? Like, it's not like they were dog.
Yeah.
It's
But
not
still.
like they were dog. I mean, because some of these games that I think about, I think about when the Saints beat the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl. I know they were in New Orleans, but I think everyone thought Minnesota was going to go to that. When I think about the Minneapolis Miracle with Minnesota and the Saints, with Jefferson running down the sideline, that was a big upset. There's been some. The one with the Rams to go to the Super Bowl with the Rams, the blatant pass interference. Saints should have won that game. That was like the Saints' last chance. The Saints have really been on all these. But, I mean, it's definitely up there. But this was a weird year to where a lot of these wild card teams, man, they were pushing 12 wins. Not like, I mean, if this would have been, like a 9-8 division winner going over there in the divisional round and beating them or something like that, that would have been a lot different. But pretty big. Damn Detroit.
Yeah. I will say before we hit halftime, I just want to ask the question here. Do you feel like the hate for the Chiefs at this point is how do I put this? Do you feel like it is
more than the Patriots?
Yes, more than the Patriots, more than even like the Kobe Shaq Lakers, Yankees.
I do, and I'll tell you why I think it is.
Everybody hates the Yankees.
The reason why it's bigger than the Patriots, Jalen, is that a lot of people hated the Patriots because they felt like the Patriots were always cheating. Okay? It was always something that the Patriots were doing. A lot of people now are thinking that the NFL is just giving the Chiefs preferential treatment. So it's different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so there's a feeling of, you're not really earning it, but they are. I mean, because again, there's only a couple of these calls a game, and they always look suspect, and they do look bad, but there is 60 minutes to play. But when stuff like that happens every single game, and you're a fan of another team where your team isn't getting those calls, like the Detroit fans could have been like, well, damn, man, Goff threw the interception, but he got blown up. That should have been a 15-yard call, and like Detroit should have had the ball back at like the 30 or Washington should have had the ball at the 35.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't score a touchdown there. So like there does seem to be this preferential treatment, and so I think it's a different type of dislike. Everyone just hates the Yankees because they're the Yankees and they never shut up about 27 World Series. People hate the Patriots because they cheated. The Lakers, I don't really know why people hated the Lakers. I thought the Lakers were fun. I thought they were fun to watch back then.
I don't know if there's. I don't. I know a lot of people hate. I think they more hate the NFL or what they're saying allowing this to happen. You know what I mean? Because I don't think. I mean, the Patriots were villains. I mean, they were villains on the field. Okay,
But they were heroes
when
first.
when they beat the Rams. I mean,
They were
who the
heroes.
hell besides Jalen? Who the hell was rooting for the Patriots in that Rams Super Bowl? Not one damn person.
You're talking
Everybody
about
wanted
the
to see.
America.
recent one.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about.
Talking about the very first one.
About the Marshall
The
Falk
very
team.
first one.
Wait, what?
The
about
Marshall Falk team.
Oh, everyone wanted the Patriots to win.
At that
No,
time?
Why?
no, they
Because
didn't.
no one,
No, they didn't.
no, because people
No, they
don't
didn't.
actually want to. People don't
People
actually
didn't
want
want them to
see a
win
dynasty
because they didn't believe they beat the
No.
Raiders. People didn't believe that they beat the Raiders. That's why people didn't
They
want
don't
them to win.
Okay,
No.
that was the same. That was the
was the
same
Tuck
year
rule.
as
That was
9/11,
the
and it was
Tuck rule.
Patriots for God's sake.
Yeah.
No,
But
at the end of the day, like in American sports, if you're the hero long enough, you become the villain, and it
Right.
happens to
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, people hate Steph Curry.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay? If that's not proof enough,
And how is that
that
possible?
if you
I've
are
always hated
the,
Steph Curry.
I mean, if your team is good long enough, and you're
They
too
won't
good
hate
for
it.
too long, people get
Yeah.
tired of it, and they just want to see you fail. Like that's where we are. We don't actually want
Right.
to. We celebrate when a dynasty is happening, but once it's happened, we're like, okay, get over it already.
Yeah,
Let's go to somebody else.
right.
Let my team have a
Right.
shot.
Let's
That's
spread the
mentality.
wealth. Let's spread the wealth, right?
Yeah, Steph Curry
Yeah,
was
hey.
was everyone's favorite until he wasn't. As soon as they started
he
winning, it
wasn't.
was
Hey,
like,
did-
all right, get out of here.
All right. Look at all these
Hey, do
Golden
we have
State
time
fans.
Do we have time to talk about which team in the NFC has the longest drought in the NFC Championship game? Do we have time to talk about that?
No, we don't. It's time for break. It's time for break.
Might be the Dallas Cowboys.
Notice
there's-
how I got
so there's
scared
three
too for some
teams.
reason.
So there's three teams. 4 teams now. Is it 4 teams now that have never been that haven't since 2000 haven't been to the conference championship? Dallas in the NFC, Miami, Cleveland, and Houston in the AFC.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And Cleveland hasn't been
Wow.
since Cleveland and Miami hasn't been since the 80s.
We're about to beat some
I like
records. So yeah.
No.
I like how you-
I got it wrong. No. The Miami's been in the 90s. Miami went twice. They went back to back in the 90s. Went back to back in the 90s.
But you said since 2000.
We're not
And you're
making
right.
that-
Since 2000.
Yeah.
But
Since
I love
2000.
I love how I was talking about the NFC and June made it
Shut
into
up, clown.
a 4-team race. He was like- he just glossed over that Dallas
Somebody-
part and let's
somebody
talk about
said
these
that.
other 3 teams.
Let's talk about the
No,
AFC.
somebody said that on the show the other day, and I went through every single team in the NFC, and I was like, mother fucker. I was like, are you kidding me with this? Are you kidding me with this?
The only
Like,
two
geez.
teams that had a longer drought than the Cowboys was Detroit and Washington, and they went the last 2
That's
years.
so funny.
Yeah.
Like that's
Oh man. Well, June, there's always next year.
hey, at least
Every
at least you
team
can
in
say the last
NFC has
time you
been to the
win,
conference
you won.
championship. That's true.
Since '95.
Dez caught the ball, by the
Minus
way.
one? Okay.
Yes, I caught the ball.
Okay. Jesus. Well, folks, if you want to follow June on TikTok, it is always linked down in the description below. Be sure to follow him. I'm sure he'll give you all the Cowboys off-season news, gossip, whatnot. Yeah, June, thank you for joining us for another great first half. On the second half of the show, we will have G Money. We're hitting some news. We're talking about Ben Johnson going to the Bears. We're also talking about Ohio State winning the national championship, and then Ride or Die in 5. We've got, of course, the conference championship games and some NBA games to throw in the mix. So, all right, we will see you all in about 10 minutes.
So some people decided to get some hate on my take. CeeDee Lamb, not top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Your boy, currently 32nd in the league in receptions, number 10 in yards, 35th in touchdown. That doesn't sound elite. There's 32 teams in the NFL, and this man is below 32 in 2 out of 3 major categories. So go ahead, Cowboys fans. Blame Dak, blame McCarthy, but your boy CeeDee Lamb is not even a top 30 wide receiver in 2 out of 3 categories in the NFL. You have Tom Brady on your bench, Nestor?
Yeah.
How do you have on his roster? That might be one of the reasons why you're trash, man.
I did that when I was already eliminated. There was 1 week where Tom Brady got more points than Travis Etienne. Etienne, there was a week he got negative 0.2 points.
I think my team is still a good team.
You're eliminated, June.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Am I eliminated?
You're eliminated too. We're all eliminated.
Oh,
Except for G Money.
I'm not doing shit then.
What was that noise?
Take a shot. Too much on. Rise up. Oh! Come on, let's go. Somebody got to win. Who wants it? How bad do you want it? Oh, you got it. Here we go. Right line. Oh, not tonight, sir.
Why is it that everyone is just unanimously assuming that Lamar Jackson is running away with the MVP race right now? Lamar Jackson, 68% completion, 2,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 500 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I'm looking at Josh Allen, 64 completion. He's got over 2,000 yards. He's 17-2. And he's only got 260 yards rushing, but he has 3 touchdowns. I think it's a lot closer. Baltimore has a better running back. I don't think that Shakir or Coleman or Kincaid are better than Flowers and Andrews, likely. Lamar Jackson has better weapons around him. Josh Allen is keeping pace with less around him. And I think that it's like a 1A, 1B right now between those two.
Fuck.
Well, I just got 2 miles of this damn stadium.
Can I get a Miller Lite, man? Miller.
Okay. I like your shirt.
It's like $18.
Fuck. We're Road G. Seats 21, 22. And LSU
I apologize. Old drinks. That's
You're
part of
good.
the
You're good.
I want to know what happened to Baltimore's defense. The Bucs ain't this good.
Incomplete. 3rd and goal.
Technically, it's 101st.
Holding. Bring that shit back.
You're a wizard.
$1 more would have gotten you a highlight.
They conned us. They conned us into this.
Some bullshit.
Excuse me, sir. There's a lot of elderly Ravens fans right here.
Yes, the Baltimore Colts marching band back when they used to have a marching band.
A lot of popcorn. Well, there goes our points.
There goes our points. Why are you so mad, man? He's so angry. Let's go into the exit.
Henry on the carry. Pulled down by Levante David. 2nd and 11 at the 41.
You lucked out with Brady. Three.
Yeah, shit don't matter. Better get before that.
So you bet before 3?
Yeah, we 4-3, and we gonna win our division. Y'all will not.
No, you're not even knowing.
Atlanta's way better than y'all. You crazy. Oh shit.
Aaron Rodgers. He has to be in the perfect situation for him to have worked out. They're going to have to make a decision next year. I hope they make the right decision and let the guy go.
I think they brought in Aaron Rodgers wanting to win a Super Bowl, but you got to remember who the team is. It's the Jets. When have they ever, even when it seems like they make the right move, it ends up being the wrong move? People give the Cowboys crap year in and year out when they don't win a Super Bowl, yet they won 12 games 3 years in a row. But it seems like Aaron Rodgers always gets a freaking pass. It's always somebody else's fault when it comes to Aaron Rodgers not even getting back to a Super Bowl.
The offense is fine. It's that defense that needs some help, but this defense has got to be fixed.
They can be great. I wouldn't necessarily call them frauds. I just think they're fraudulent at times.
They are exactly what we saw last season. They're not frauds. I just feel like they are the Ravens.
I guess I'm going to be the one person that comes on here and calls them frauds. But their secondary is terrible. They'll let anybody come in there and throw a party on them.
Right.
Justin Tucker, he has the yips.
Don't even get June going on that Ravens defense going up against Kellen Moore offense.
Kellen Moore had a first grade math workbook as his play calling sheet, and he ran circles around.
It's like the Bills in the 90s, man. People don't realize that the Bills and the Dolphins pretty much played every year for the AFC Championship game and played for the AFC East, and the Dolphins always lost. It was in their head, and that's what it seems to be now. It's just in Tua's head.
Tua needs great people around him for him to be great. Josh Allen makes other people around him better than what they are. When you have a quarterback like that, you're going to beat the quarterback that needs the people more often than not. Buffalo is the standard still in the AFC East right now.
The Dolphins defense cannot contain Josh Allen. Just looking back the past couple years, this past game, he threw for 235 yards. When they played them earlier this year, only 139 yards, but that was game 2 and went down, and they just ran the ball all over the Dolphins. Playoff game, 359 yards, 320 yards, 304 yards, 400 yards. He is
and everybody
torched
can
them.
continue to laugh at me when I say that the Lions are better. No,
Come on, dog. You got to let that shit go.
Hold on.
You have to let that shit go, bro.
The power rankings on ESPN and NFL Network are agreeing with me. Pro Football Focus agrees with me. And here's the thing.
Bro.
Yeah, the eye test. Eye test is easy because Detroit's blowing people out and Kansas City is barely winning games. Kansas City is plus 56 on point differential. They've scored 203 points, given up 147. Detroit, on the other hand, has scored 258, given up 148. They're plus 110. They're more than 50 points better in the point differential than Kansas City. And luck has everything to do with it sometimes when you win games and when you have the refs help.
Welcome back. Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet. After Further Review, episode 223. We've got G Money with us. G Money, what's going on?
Hey, I'm just living the dream. Though, after surviving dental surgery again and not being allowed to drink alcohol because I'm on medication and everything, or eating real human food, But other than that, man, it's good.
Other than not being able to enjoy things that you love.
Yeah, exactly.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Things are great.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't work out, So it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But I got you guys. And and we got sports. So, those are the pluses.
Well, we will take a shot to G Money's lack of being able to drink here. So, cheers, gentlemen. All right, let's get into the news for the week. Starting off with, of course, Ohio State beating Notre Dame to win the national championship. G Money, what do you think about this?
It was interesting, right? So Notre Dame freaking runs that quarterback the first series every damn time, all the way down and scores a touchdown. You're like, well, you can't do that forever. They're going to stop it. And they did. And then, Ohio State comes back. They get a nice lead. They go into halftime. They come out and they're like Ohio State of the regular season, where they just kind of piss away the third quarter. And you watch Notre Dame come back and made it a game. It was a good game in that respect. I don't think Notre Dame should feel bad about. Well, you always feel bad about losing, but I mean the way that they came back and they made it a game and had a shot. You can't feel bad about that. I do think that they need to get themselves a better quarterback in the portal. Kick out some of that Catholic NIL money, people. Don't just keep giving it to the priests. You need a quarterback and a kicker.
Yeah, kicker's important. That's big. Yeah, it was first year of the 12-team playoff. It was interesting to say the least. I think you do have a true champion, but you have a very different champion than we ever would have had before. Because Ohio State became the national champions as a 2-loss team. It was number 4 in their own conference. Never even played in the conference championship. Lost to their biggest rival. But then yet when they get to the playoffs, they beat 4 top 10 teams. They beat Tennessee. They beat the number 1 team handily, Oregon. Then they beat Texas. And then they beat Notre Dame. And, Notre Dame did have its chances. G Money's right. Running your quarterback 9 times in the first series, not a recipe for success. And Ryan Day did what he does best. His time clock management comes into question every second half. The only way he was ever going to win a national championship is if he was blowing people out by halftime. But it's interesting that you can have such a flawed, somewhat regular season team that wasn't living up to expectations in the regular season because they lost a couple games they shouldn't have, and they were the most talented team thought of going into the season, but then to be as dominant as they were in the playoff, it's a different college football now. It is a different college football where you can drop a couple games and still have a shot. And you know what? The Notre Dame players might be very sad that they didn't win a national championship. More I know who's not sad in Notre Dame? The university. Because since they're an independent, they took home $20 million that they get to keep for themselves. Ohio State also takes $20 million, but they got to share it with 16 other teams. Or 18 now. Is it 18 now? I think it's 18 teams now. Big Ten, 18.
Yeah, they just call
I
themselves
think
the
it's
big
18.
now.
Yeah, just big. But so like everybody else in that conference gets a piece of the pie. Notre Dame's just like, look at us, not 20 large. So I mean, if Notre Dame can keep with these 10 and 11 win seasons, they could find themselves in the playoffs every year. You do that enough times, and it's going to make it a lot easier to start getting people from that transfer portal, Gary. You could just set up your own NIL directive from the money you make from the playoff and be like, listen, we make the playoffs every year. Come play for us. So, I think Notre Dame should be happy with what happened to their season. And Michigan fans, they are just beside themselves right now. And it's hilarious how bad they want to try to stay relevant.
I think it's crazy after everything that transpired with that loss they took against Michigan. What was it it was like a 20-point spread. It was like fucking all that what happened after the game, and now this happens.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they were 23-point favorites, lose 13-10, and then everyone thinks that Ryan Day is going to get fired, and then
Exactly.
rips off 4 straight wins again. I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest 4-game stretches any college football team's ever had. And then they win the national championship. But G-Money and I were talking about this before. It doesn't matter if he won the national championship. Let him lose 1 or 2 more times to Michigan. He'll still be out of a job. So he's now lost 4 in a row. You can't lose 5 in a row and keep your job at Ohio State.
Damn. Damn. Hey, that job market is tough out there now, so I guess it's only right. Let's go to some, speaking of jobs, the Bears hired Ben Johnson as their new head coach. The spot that a lot of people were thinking Mike McCarthy was going to take. Ben Johnson quickly scooped that job up. I think the day after the Lions got eliminated. What do you guys think about this one?
I think if the Lions go to the NFC Championship game, maybe McCarthy does become the coach. Maybe the Bears aren't willing to wait, but I kind of felt like he was the favorite this whole time. And then I think McCarthy became an option after that long-awaited thing with Dallas or whatever. But I think that's who the Bears wanted the whole time. And you got to look at that offense, the weapons they have in that offense, and you look at what Ben Johnson did with the talent in Detroit. We'll see if being a good offensive coordinator can translate into being a really good head coach. That's what they need. But the pieces seem to fit on paper. Let's see how bad the Bears organization can muck it up.
Yeah, real quick. He should do really, really well here. But hey, the Bears are one of those snake bit franchises that are just cancerous. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can overcome the however year-long curse that exists in Chicago when it comes to coaching staff. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think they'll do fine. I do. Their offense, they need to add maybe 1 or 2 O linemen, another wide receiver. Their defense is solid. I mean, it's not like you're coming into a team that you have nobody at quarterback. Sort of like the Jets, where you're going in and you've got no quarterback, and you've got to you got to figure out who your quarterback's going to be. Good luck there, Aaron Glenn. Yeah, I think they'll do fine. I see them having a winning season next year. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not, because you still have, Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. So we'll see how that plays for them. That's going to be a tough division for a couple of years.
Plus, how's that O-line coming along?
Yeah, he's got to get himself a tackle and probably a guard. You get a good left tackle and a right guard, and they should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the last piece of news here. The Patriots bring back Josh McDaniels. Good old Josh McDaniels back as their offensive coordinator again for the second or third time.
Third
I guess
time.
it'd be third time
Isn't it the third
now.
time? Yeah.
Yeah. Third time.
This is the funniest thing. And then Terrell Williams is the defensive coordinator. He was the D-line coach in Detroit. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this one?
I think Robert Kraft needs some new friends, man. I don't understand this Patriots circle of influence. They just, I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, it's not like he was a bad offensive coordinator. Anytime I've ever seen Josh McDaniels without Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, he looked like trash. So just because he's going to be back on the sideline in the Patriots, Bill ain't there and Tom ain't there. So I don't know what. I don't know. God bless him. Have fun, Drake, man.
I don't know. I think he'll be. Yeah, go ahead, Jalen. You're the New England fan. Give us some 411 on that.
I mean, I'm fine with him coming back because the only time we've really seen him succeed is when he's the offensive coordinator of the Patriots. However, like Malin said, it is always Bill Belichick has been the constant. Like Brady was there and Belichick was there. Even when we had Mac Jones for his rookie year, offense still looked. I mean, we were a playoff team because we still had Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. But now it's like, is he still going to thrive without Belichick there? I would like to think so because, I mean, it seemed like he was just given full control over the offense and Bill just kind of was like, all right, whatever. Like, you've already proven yourself here, so this is all yours. So I don't see why that would necessarily change in this scenario. So, I mean, I'm completely fine with it. It would be nice if we were able to get somebody new in, but this is like the only retread that I'm fine with. If it was anybody else that we would have brought back, yeah, I'd have a serious problem with that. But
you're saying if they brought back Charlie Weiss from the OG 3 Super Bowls, you wouldn't have liked that?
Dug him up.
I don't even know if he's still alive. Is he dead?
I'm not sure.
Oh, he is? Didn't look too healthy back in 2006. I know that.
Go ahead, G-Money.
Yeah, I think it's a good move, really. I mean, who else are you going to get? Other OCs are probably looking at head coaching positions, the few places that are left, or don't want to leave where they're at. Josh knows the system. Vrabel feels good with him. And Vrabel's a good head coach. He did well in Tennessee for the most part. And I think Drake May, well, I don't even think. I know Drake May is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. I mean, so I think he'll do fine. And really, except for the Bills, the East is open. I mean, the Jets don't have a quarterback. Miami, they may have a quarterback for 1 or 2 games until, he gets pumpkin-headed again, and then that'll be that. He'll be wandering around. So, yeah, I mean...
He said, damn.
I mean, it's all true. I mean, Tua's going to get smacked. He's probably going to trip falling out of the shower, concuss himself for the 15th time, and that's it.
We should have tanked this season. We would kind of.
You were in the right position to do so for a little
Could
while.
have gotten a good quarterback.
My question is, and this is very much jumping the gun, but let's just say over the next 2-3 years here, our offense looks fantastic. Do you think Josh McDaniels gets offered a head coaching job again?
Of course he does.
I think the NFL's dumb enough to do it.
There is an owner out there that will see that and go, yeah, he's my next head coach. Whether that's in Carolina or Jacksonville or Chicago, if Chicago goes belly up. But there is an owner out there that will look at that and go, yeah, that's my next head coach.
It's wild. All right. Let's get into the ride or die in 5 for this week. So last week I went 1-2. Me and June went 1-2. Malin and Nestor went 2-1, and then G Money went 3-0. We did have one game, the Packers, the Rams and the Eagles, which was a push. So we really only had 3 games to go off of in this case. So this brings our current games over 500. I am plus 59. Malin is right on my heels now at plus 58. G Money plus 38. Nestor plus 25. G Money's been on a heater, I will say, over this past month.
Season.
I know, kind of surprising.
Him and Nestor started off the season.
Outside of his one drunk picks.
Hey, my drunk picks went 2 and 3. I mean, I can't complain about that. They could have gone 0 and 5. It's almost like picking teams who you like the color of their uniforms.
Well, sometimes. Yeah, so we've got NBA back in the mix starting this week, and it will, after the Super Bowl, it will be only that. So we're going to start off with the Friday night game. This is so weird. 7 o'clock, we've got the Cavs at the Sixers. We can't really do spreads with the NBA for our show just because we do these a few days in advance. And the spread usually doesn't come out until day before or day of an NBA game. So we just pick outright. So Cleveland or Philly, 2 options. G Money, go right ahead.
Cleveland. Straight is real simple. They're number 1 in the East right now. I watched Philly last night. Embiid's not playing. Maxi's playing well, but other than that, they got nobody. They're just a mess. They made too many ridiculous trades for players the last couple of years, and it's showing. It's showing. Give me Cleveland.
I'm going to agree. Cleveland is, they are the best team in the East right now. And I was just watching them damn near beat Houston at home. So Philly's, they're all right. So I'll take Cleveland. Go ahead, Malin.
Yeah, this is one to where if you end up picking Philly, you're definitely overthinking it, and you need to get your head examined. Now, that doesn't mean that Philly's not going to turn around and win this game and fuck us all. But I'm going to say who's going to win this game. You got to go with the number 1 seed that's 7-3 out of their last 10 instead of the 11 seed that's 2-8 out of their last 10. So one is playing great ball. The other is, if the ABA was still around, they should be relegated. So yeah, Cleveland.
And Nestor.
Same thing. I'll go with Cleveland.
All right. Saturday at 3 o'clock, we've got the Nuggets at the T-Wolves. I'm going to take the Nuggets here. The T-Wolves are not very good this year. They're I think a game over 500 right now, while the Nuggets are the 4th seed in the West. So it really doesn't matter where or when this game is being played. T-Wolves have just been a big disappointment this year, and the Nuggets still look fantastic. So I'm going to take the Nuggets in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm taking the Nuggets on this one too. They started off the season kind of like a 500 team. They're now 8-2 out of their last 10. Kind of firm control on the 4th seed. Minnesota, like you said, they're They're in the 8th seed right now for the All-Star break, but they have not really been playing up to potential after what you saw in the playoffs last year. That next step up the rung of the ladder to try to get the championship material, we have not seen that materialize this last year or the first half of the season. So we'll go ahead and take the Rashy Joker. Let's see what happens.
Nestor.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Denver. I'm surprised Minnesota won the first game. I think, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Denver on this one.
And G Money.
Yeah, I just finished watching the Minnesota Dallas game, and Minnesota hung on to win by 1 point. Of course, Kyrie Irving hit a three with time running out, but they were playing a depleted Dallas team, and Rudy Gobert doesn't look good, and they don't have Cat anymore, and Ant-Man can't carry it himself. And I'd watched Denver, I think, 2 nights ago, and the Joker looks like he wants to be MVP again. And the hell happened to Westbrook? That guy had he is reborn. He is leading the team in assists. I was watching him feed the Joker. I'm like, holy shit, dude, you are not the Westbrook of the Clippers or of the Lakers or of any other team you played for after you left freaking Oklahoma City. So yeah, I gotta go with Denver.
Yeah, Westbrook is. Listen, when they get to the playoffs, if he can keep this up, could he be the missing piece to Denver's title run last year? Just saying. Let's go to the last NBA game here. Saturday at 5:30, we have the Celtics at the Mavs. Go ahead, Malin.
Bitch, please give me Boston. What are we talking about? Like G Money just said that Dallas is riddled with injuries. Is Luka back yet? I heard he was supposed to miss about a month ago. I don't
He
think he
wasn't
played
in
tonight. I didn't
tonight's
watch that
game.
game. Yeah,
He didn't play.
I think he's still out with a calf strain. Thompson's out because he's Thompson and he's old. I don't know. Derek Lively's out. He's going to be missing 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, he's gonna be out for the rest of the season.
Boston. Boston has not. I will say this now. Boston has not lived up to potential yet, but they're kind of on par for most defending championship teams that are just doing what they need to do to stay in the top 1 to 3 seeds. Let's get in the playoffs and let's see what happens. But I think when you go up against a team you beat in the finals last year, I kind of think it gets some juices going a little bit. And I think Boston's going to handle them. And didn't they just wax Golden State by 40? I mean, I know Golden State has injuries too, but then they did it by 40 points. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Give me Boston. Let's go.
Nestor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Boston. Even if Luka's back, I don't trust him. So I don't trust Dallas. So give me Boston.
G Money.
Yeah, kind of scary. We're all unanimous on our first 3 NBA picks. I look at Boston too, and even though they are not playing at the same level they played last year, and hey, did D White himself out? Is he even playing? I swear to God, he is not. No, he's not playing anywhere close to the level he played last year. It's like, dude, are you like selling your jersey to other people so they can play for you? You know, and kick back and relax. And like, hey, yo, calm it down. Get 10K? Oh, you play 15 minutes for me.
I just know that currently Sam Hauser is leading us in scoring against the Clippers. He's 9 points. It's one of them nights.
Oh, baby.
One of them nights.
There you go, baby.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Celtics here. It is a little alarming that we were all agreeing here, but I try to give us 3 easy games to ease back in to the NBA here. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's get to the big games. So we've got the NFC Championship, 3 o'clock this Sunday. Commanders are 6-point underdogs going into Philly. Nestor, we are starting with you first.
Oh yeah, no. Give me the Commanders. If Philly struggle to do it against the Rams, they're gonna have a really tough time with the Commanders, and I wouldn't not be surprised if the Commanders take this one, just because they have a more balanced offense, and the way Jaden Daniels is playing, I just feel like they can take advantage of any errors that Philly makes. So honestly, give me the Commanders.
You money.
Yeah, I was looking at this. I looked at the last 2 games, well, the 2 games they played against each other, and Philly went into Washington and handled them very easily. Well, actually, no, they played in Philly, and Philly handled them easily. And then the return game, when Jalen Hurts got knocked out in first like 6-7 minutes of the game with concussion.
End of the first quarter.
I mean, it didn't seem like it was that long, and he was bumbling out of the game. And Washington only won by 3 points. I mean, I tend to, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, the home team in the NFC Championship has won, I want to say, 8 of the last 10. And we've only had 6 rookie quarterbacks play in the AFC or NFC Championship. The 6th one, of course, being Jaden Daniels. You had Brock Purdy. You had Big Ben Roethlisberger. You had Joe Flacco. You had Mark Sanchez. And as we all know, and you all from Tampa definitely know, Sean King. And none of them advanced. In fact, they all got beat pretty handily. I'm going to take Philadelphia. If they've learned anything against the Rams, and definitely against the Redskins, I mean, Saquon Barkley in 2 games rushed for 296 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think they run him more. I think they run him until the man has no legs. So I'm going to take Philly minus the 6 at home.
Oh, Philly's going to win. Damn it.
This one is an interesting one. I think the Eagles are frauds. I said this very early this year. And when I say frauds, I don't necessarily mean that the roster is like the players are frauds. I actually really like this roster. But I think the coaching staff is fraudulent. I think Nick Sirianni has been in over his skis for the past couple years now. And I feel like they are just teetering on implosion always. And I think this is the right team to expose his coaching, how bad of a coach he actually is. I think Green Bay was just too banged up to get the job done, unfortunately. LA fucking snowed and they weren't ready. Like, that was just not. Elements got them. But the Commanders are red hot right now. They're white hot. They are ridiculously good right now. That offense and the defense, respectively. Going into Philly, I think they're the best team to do the upset that is needed here, because it's not like they don't know each other. They played each other twice now. They split the matchup. They're familiar with this team. It's not like they're going into some weird, it's not like they're going into Detroit. Yeah, I really like the Commanders here. If you're going to give me 6 points, I will happily take them. I think the Eagles are frauds. I really do. And if Jalen Hurts is, we know he's banged up. There's without a doubt he is hurt to some degree. Just kind of how bad is it? And I can't stand Eagles fans. I really cannot. They are on the top of my list for the most cancerous fans in the NFL. So if the Commanders can knock them off, I will be so happy. This will be. I don't even care what happens in the Super Bowl. Just please prevent the Eagles from even getting their Commanders. I beg of you. So give me the Commanders and 6 points. Go ahead, Malin.
I will preface what I'm going to say by saying that I want Washington. In fact, my Super Bowl that I would love to see would be the Bills, Washington. Let's throw it all the way back to what was it, 91, Gary? I think it was.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to. I think that was the. No, that wasn't the Gulf War one. But let's go ahead and bring it back.
That was 90.
Yeah, that was 90 against the Giants. But listen, we're talking about how great the Commanders are playing. Okay, they didn't beat the Falcons by that much at the last week of the season. They needed a doink in the upright to beat Tampa at home. They did beat Detroit very handily. I'll give them that. But I don't think that Jalen Hurts and the Philly offense is going to turn the ball over 4 to 5 times. Jalen Hurts might not be playing well, but he's playing well enough to throw almost 70% of his passes, no interceptions, a couple touchdowns. He's also ran for a score. He's playing efficient, safe ball. What they really got going for him is Saquon Barkley just running all over everybody. And Detroit showed that you can run on this Commanders defense. Gibbs on 14 carries had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I can guarantee you Saquon Barkley's got a heck of a lot more than 14 carries. I know that Sirianni, I believe with you that he's kind of fraudulent, but I still think that Dan Quinn is chasing the demons of 28-3 when he was the Falcons head coach. Let's not act like both of these coaches are phenomenal head coaches, like they've never shit the bed before. I want Washington to win, but I think when you're looking on a Sunday with 40 degrees, it's going to be cloudy, not supposed to be raining right now. I think Philly is going to do enough in this game to win by probably about a touchdown. Keep in mind, they were up 21-7 on Washington, literally right after Jalen Hurts got knocked out of that game. And they needed 5 touchdowns from Jaden Daniels to even win that game by 3, like G-Money said. So everyone keeps talking about, they beat Washington, or Washington beat them before. And I'm like, yeah, they played almost 3.5 quarters without Jalen Hurts. And even Kenny Pickett had them up against the Commanders. So let's see if Jalen Hurts can get A.J. Brown involved a little bit more so he doesn't have to read a book on the sideline. But I'm going to go ahead and take Philly into -6.
One of the funniest comments on that was someone saying, "Man, no one in Philly knows how to read."
Philly fans didn't even know what he was doing on the sideline. They were like, "What is that? What is that he got down there?" I ain't seen one of them since elementary school. A pop-up book? I love pop-up books. He's got a book? Why ain't got no crayons? He's got a book. Why ain't got no crayons? Damn, Philly fans.
All right, last one. Sunday at 6:30. The really big one. This is the Arrowhead Invitational here. We've got the Bills at the Chiefs. Bills are 2-point underdogs on the road here. G-Money, we will start with you.
Man, I got to go with Kansas City. The Bills haven't been able to beat them in the playoffs. This year on the road, the Bills are 5-4 against teams that actually made the playoffs. They're 1-3. I just don't see it happening. I see something. I just don't. Kansas City wants to be that team of destiny. they want to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and to even have a shot at that, they have to win this game. Say what you will about the refs, Kansas City pulls it out, covers that 2-point spread and wins. Probably by 3, maybe by 4, but they win because that's all they do. They play close games and they win.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think that we are in for a game of chess here. I think a lot of this is gonna come down to coaching and who's going to make the killer mistake. Because I mean, both of these teams, at least throughout the postseason, it has been a game of just like we're just not going to beat ourselves. And I feel like they're playing the same exact game, and now it's just going to be who's going to play more mistake-free football in the Arrowhead Invitational. And I think it's going to be Kansas City because I'm going to give them the refs. They're in their element. Buffalo, as many times as they've met these guys, they just can't crack the code. So until I see it happen, I'm going to stick with Kansas City. And it's only 2 points, not like, 5 or something like that. So, yeah, you're going to give me Patrick Mahomes at home with the refs, healthy Travis Kelce. I'm going to stick with my guns here. Give me the Chiefs at home. Malin.
I'm going Buffalo.
Oh.
Going Buffalo. I'm going to be different. And I'm looking at all the stats in the playoffs, right? I'm looking at penalties. I'm looking at time of possession. I'm looking at who's turning the ball over. None of them are turning the ball over. Well, which quarterback is playing out of their mind right now? Neither quarterback is necessarily playing out of their mind right now. They're both playing very efficient, safe. There's one thing that Buffalo can do that Kansas City can't. Kansas City can't run the damn ball. And Buffalo has a better run defense. And they just can't. They're going to be one-dimensional in this game, just like they were against Houston. And Buffalo can run the ball. And I think their offense is going to be predicated on that. I don't think they're going to give up on running the ball because just as this point spread shows it should be a close game, it's going to be a close game. The Bills are never going to have to go away from their offense, I don't think. They're going to be able to run the type of offense they want to for the entirety of the game. I think the best offense when it comes to Buffalo is to play, defense, keep away from Kansas City. Long, sustaining drives, get a few touchdowns. Kansas City thrives on short fields. I don't think you're going to see Buffalo going for it on 4th and 10 on their own 40. I don't think you're going to see that kind of thing. And so I think that Josh Allen, if he plays a clean football game like he's been playing most of the year, and like he's played in the playoffs, I think Buffalo is going to end up with this win. I think there's actually been so much scrutiny on the calls with the refs that they might actually be a little bit intimidated to throw one or two of these calls that maybe they had. You know what I mean? There's been so much of a spotlight on it that maybe they don't throw as many as they do. So I'm trying to come up with every reason I can to want the Buffalo Bills to win this thing because I want them to, and I actually think they will. So I'm taking Buffalo with the +2.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game where usually, like, just as we've seen, Kansas City's going to start slow. Bills are going to build with that, with Josh Allen and that running game they have. But Kansas City is going to stay in the game, and it's going to be a boneheaded mistake from the Bills. And the coaching for Kansas City, the refs, everything's going to play into that. They know how to take advantage and capitalize off of other teams' mistakes. It's going to be a close game, and the Bills are going to probably mess it up. Statistically, the Bills should win this game. for me, but that's not the NFL, unfortunately. Um, most of the time, I'm gonna go with Kansas City here. Unfortunately, I gotta hope I'm wrong. If there's any game I hope I'm wrong on, it's this one.
I'm really excited for this game. I mean, I'm excited to see Washington and Philly, of course, but that to me feels more like a David versus Goliath kind of deal, where it's like I'm just praying for Washington at this point. But this one, it's like I've never felt like Buffalo is more prepared for Kansas City and all of their matchups than this one, where it feels like okay, they're gonna play the same game this time, as opposed to how is Josh Allen or Sean McDermott gonna fuck this one up?
Do you think Josh Allen starts to feel the pressure if they get down by 7 or 10 points and he starts pushing? Because he hasn't beaten Kansas City in the playoffs. That's their nemesis. They can't beat them. Beat them in regular season, Kansas City doesn't care. It's just another game. But in the playoffs, can't beat them. So do you get kind of like the Lamar Jackson effect where, man, I can't do this. I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen.
I feel like if they are up, I feel like Josh Allen, or sorry, if they are down, Josh Allen will keep his cool because he has this entire year. He does like legitimately seem to be a different quarterback. Like he's kind of turned that page. I will say though, I feel like if Kansas City gets down by more than 10 points, I think it's probably over. I don't think they have enough firepower to come back for something like that against this team. I think like they have to keep it close this entire time to make their typical fourth quarter game-winning drive.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Josh Allen was going to start pulling some stupid shit, it would have been on the 2-yard line last week with the Ravens when his eyes got big and he thought about it. It's like, ooh, Sports Center, let's go, top 10. But I think if here, okay, here's what I'll say here. If Kansas City finds a way to shut the run game down, and Buffalo doesn't have the run game, then yeah, I think he could get nervous and start pressing and throwing passes that he shouldn't. But if the run game stays there the whole time, then keep moving the ball, and it's not 6 minutes in the fourth quarter and you're down by 10. Then I think any quarterback's going to start trying to thread the needle a little bit more if you're down 10 with 6 minutes left in the game. I think he'll probably keep his composure more than he would have in years past. But we'll see. Now I'm nervous. Now I'm more nervous. Damn it. Son of a
All right. By the way, I did invite G Smooth onto the show this week, but he declined to go do a yoga class. So, there's that.
Yes, I mean, sports or yoga. Okay. Good choice. Okay.
There's a little bit more to it than just yoga.
After the show. He did pick the Chiefs, of course, and he did say that Travis Kelce's going to have a big game, so we'll see. Anyway, hopefully we depending on what happens, hopefully we can get him on for a Super Bowl pick. So, all right. That will do it for this week's episode. Anything else you guys want to mention before we get up out of here?
Well, the Jets did hire.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and
really?
Aaron Glenn.
Jacksonville fired their GM after everybody they wanted to interview said no way, we're not going down there. Dallas should take the cue.
Yeah, they'll probably end up with Mike McCarthy. Jaguars.
Yeah.
Probably the
Well, the
first.
Saints still have to hire someone, right? I mean, you've got the Saints, Jacksonville, and the Cowboys. They all need head coaches, and so obviously it'd be the most Jerry Jones thing to hire back Mike McCarthy. Go, okay, we can't get anybody. Okay, yeah, forget about having Witten there as the heir apparent. I was kidding anyway. I was drunk.
I would just like to point out that the Washington Commanders have 13 former Seahawks either playing for them or on the coaching staff or in the front office right now, which is kind of crazy. 13 people. That's wild. That's for people. So go Bobby
East.
Wagner. Go get yourself another Super Bowl, Bobby.
All right. That will do it for this week's episode. Hey, next week will be... It'll still be a good episode, but we won't have our Super Bowl picks that week because we have that 1 week gap. So Super Bowl episode will be the following week, folks. So next week we'll be recapping these 2 championship games, some NBA stuff. It'll be kind of a weirder week, but thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you all next week, and peace out.
Peace.